right. It's been 7 years, Zach. Blink 182 says in there, 7 years of fighting. Staying together for the kids. It's not working. It's hurting the kids, Steve. You don't stay together for the kids. Joe, Jamar, T have bright futures, but this marriage is ruining their potential. Move on, Katie. Kick Zach out. Get him out of the house. Let the kids blossom. Much better fish in the sea. They can visit Zac and Duke on holidays. Right, Stevie? We'll let them visit on holidays.
I don't think they would, but you can.
Eric, it's just the differences. Irreconcilable differences. Zac and Duke. We don't have to put up with this anymore. They don't have the same desire to win as their kids. They're holding their kids back. Happy birthday, Joe Burrow. The greatest gift the Bengals can get him. Send those two clowns packing. Send them packing, Steve. You know when the greatest time to plant a tree or fire a coach is? 5 years ago for Zach, 20 years ago for a tree. The second best time is now! We'll talk about it next on the Bang the Drum podcast. Went through divorce court. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm ready to kick her out, and I don't know, like get a one-bedroom apartment. And,
there you go.
And like just a refrigerator full of nothing but beer and bourbon. And did I say that out loud? I guess I did.
Meaning you're talking about Zach and Duke. You're not.
Sure.
Talking,
Sure.
Just to make it official. That's what we're talking about here. It gets us out of the holiday spirit. You and I are trying to get in the holiday spirit.
Trying.
The Bengals aren't helping. Mm-hmm. The Buckeyes Saturday night hurt a little bit. You can get over that one pretty quick as they're in the playoffs, but it still hurt. And I've noticed this, Stevie boy, as we just shoot it around here a little bit. My humble opinion, people are very grumpy right now. And people are getting on my last nerve. If you're grumpy, if you're listening to this podcast and you know me, and you're grumpy during the holiday season, I'll talk to you in January. January 1st, I'll be grumpy, or 2nd, I'll be grumpy with you. But until then, stay away. Your thoughts, Stevie?
Yeah, this is the giving time of year. Let's be happy, hell, act like it.
Mm-hmm. Fake it.
Fake it.
We all fake it. We're parents.
Right. Yeah, just fake it and deal with it and move on to the next day, go to bed, get up, go to work, come home, eat. Sleep and do it again.
Yeah. Be in the holiday spirit. Watch Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
I've watched it like 5 times already.
Have you?
Yeah.
I tried to watch it the other night, and I've seen it so many damn times I can't hardly watch it.
I can quote it all, but I just wait till this time of year. So.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Yeah.
Have you watched any Christmas movies yet?
Oh yeah, we watched a good bit.
Die Hard.
Watched a good one there. I watched Die Hard by myself.
That's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I watched Violent Night. If you get a chance,
Violent Night. I don't know that one. I know what you're talking about.
It's got the guy from Stranger Things in it.
Yeah.
The older guy, and he's Santa Claus.
Hopper or Hooper.
Yeah. Super good, pretty funny. And I'd seen it on there. I was like, whatever. It's a violent Christmas movie, whatever. It was actually pretty funny, very vulgar, and very bloody. So, but it was cool.
You, to be fair, to throw a little caveat on this, you love horror movies and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of your genre. So that probably fits. But I'll give you a couple under the radar Christmas movies. You probably know it. The Ref with Dennis Leary, hilarious. You know that? Have you watched it?
I have not.
You should. I mean, you know who Dennis Leary is. Yeah. He's funny, right? So he had the commercials Dion and his 27 nicknames. But he's I can say you're going to know this part if you just turn on anyway. He's a house burglar, right? So he kidnaps a couple, Kevin Spacey, who's, doesn't have the best name in the world now. I can't think of the lady's name. You know her too. Famous actress. So he kidnaps him. Goes. He becomes the quote-unquote ref between these two, right? So he's trying to get money. He's trying to do everything else, and he's got to deal with these two, right? So he's on the run. So It is very funny, and
I'm like,
Trapped in Paradise has got Nick Cage in it. You know,
Yeah,
Nick Cage.
yeah.
That's pretty funny one under the radar. So, 'tis that time of year. It's hard to believe. What are we looking at here? What is it? December 10th. 2 weeks from tomorrow is Christmas, right? Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. 2 weeks from tomorrow. Flying by. It goes by so fast once you get there. But we are definitely getting winter weather, Stevie. I don't like it. I am tired of it. And it's not even winter yet.
no, I don't like it either.
I think we're going to be in for a rough one all the way through. Kind of feels that way.
Yep.
Pretty nasty today. I mean, it's dropping. The temperature's dropping. Snow on the way again, it appears. So I told Sadie they keep canceling for these little dustings. They're going to be in school till July.
Yeah.
You know, they're all happy. They won't be happy when, you got to make all these days up. So canceling over nothing, really. But all right, let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about. Stay together for the kids edition. Joe Burrow's birthday. Was he 29 today, I think? So happy birthday in all seriousness, Joe. Donated to the Joe Burrow Foundation, and I get a hoodie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Kind of cool looking hoodie. So can't buy them. It's the only way you get them. So it goes for a good cause, trusting their foundation. So him and Hubbard do a lot of work there, which is really good. So today we're going to recap the Bills. The Bills. Go Bills. We are here to not cheer for you on Sunday anyway. We're going to talk about is the season over and what that means. We've got a lot of segments to that. We're going to preview the Ratbirds. Feels like we just did that because we did just do that. So dumb, the NFL scheduling right back with the Ratbirds. We'll talk about the AFC North and the playoff picture and Phillip Rivers back. There's a lot of discussion if you read into that, what that means about the NFL, right? And what Tom Brady's been saying for years. Everybody mocked him. They mock me for that too, right? Oh, just an old guy. The old guy's been right, and so is he. Yeah. Hurts, Jackson, and Mahomes. How's that looking right now? Yeah. We'll talk about that. Buckeyes in the CFB, you got the playoff bracket out since we last talked. What that looks like, how's it going to set up. We'll do our no college picks this week, so we'll do our Thursday night game, weekly NFL picks, and then we're out. But we do have our beer segment back in 1 second, but I want to say something first. So my dead to me list is growing. Matthew Stafford is firmly entrenched on it. Baker Mayfield sent me packing out of the other one. And it's over.
You're done with them.
Everybody's over. So there's only one guy that survived. And I almost picked the Dolphins over the Jets. And I thought, I just can't trust that team. And I thought Mayfield and them were getting healthy. That Saints team, you got to give them more credit, right? They're playing. So that division is weak as always. It's a shame, as we've always said, the Bengals aren't in it. But really, the AFC North's probably that weak this year. And also, I'm going to add this guy to the list, and it hurts doing it, Steve, because I used to work with some of his family. I don't know him real well, but I know somebody that does. So the day of, Kyle Schwarber, you're on my dead to me list. And the thing of it is, what I think about, we're going to talk Reds real quick before we get to the beer. So I knew he was making that decision that day, Steve Boy. Kind of cool, isn't it? Some inside sources there. Didn't know where he was going, but knew he was making that day. And then 25 minutes later, after I told a few people, but you included, the decision came out. I think the Reds didn't really go after him hard, but I think from a PR standpoint, they wanted everybody to think they were going after him hard. That's what I think.
Right.
That's opinion.
That's probably true.
And it's very – how is it in Cincinnati? You've got horrible ownership with the Bengals. It's not because they're not paying somebody. Again, it's not because they're cheap. We'll get into that again. I don't want to go that. Because it's because they leave the wrong people there and all that kind of stuff and how they've been organized for years. Like if you – the definition of being, an idiot or whatever is doing things the same way and expecting different results, and the Bengals have done it all the way through. But you look at Reds ownership, they're just as bad, right? So this is why I think they're playing games, because they say they were willing to pay Schwarber a lot of money, which I kind of believe that, but I think they knew they weren't in it. But now, since they can't get Schwarber, it's back to quote-unquote status quo, and you're not going to put money into the team. And that was only because he's from Cincinnati? Who's that sound like? Yeah. It sounds like Mike Brown, right? So if you're going to try to win, right? Like, there's plenty of players out there. Schwarber is certainly worth the money. It doesn't matter if he's from Timbuktu or Cincinnati, right? It's so dumb. You agree with me on that?
I do. He was a pretty good player early in his career, right? Mm-hmm. But here the last 4 or 5 years, he's superly took off. Yeah. And
he's a home run machine.
Whether he's from Cincinnati, California, hell, freaking Alaska, it doesn't matter. I mean, eventually you have to decide whether you want to win a championship or whether you just want to be mediocre the whole tenure that you're with, within the organization, right? And, and it just feels like to me, which is why my baseball watching has went to almost nothing, because there's just something about the league, the changes they've made, the management within the league itself. Ron, he's a freaking, isn't that his name? Yeah.
Bob?
Commissioner.
Oh, yeah. I knew it. Manfred.
Yeah.
Manfred. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a moron.
He's an idiot.
And there's even rules that they've changed that they probably should have changed back by now, because they know that
stupid ghost runners are the dumbest bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
So, but it's time for just Cincinnati sports in general, just be like, just go all in one time.
Yep.
Just go all in, because I promise you, fans will come watch.
Yep.
If you win, you'll pack that stadium. But if you're just a mediocre to where they know night from night you're a 500 team, they don't know what they're going to get. That's the reason why I went to 2 games last year. It's like, well, if I go down there, they may win 10-2, or it may be 1-0.
Yeah.
And that's not it. To drive all the way down there and do all that, that's not intriguing to me. I don't.
Especially on a weekday, right?
Yeah, weekday, and I just and at the time I was playing music, so weekends were tight, and it's just, I don't know, it's not appealing, and I think I'm probably in the majority there.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And baseball in general, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if you put a good team on the field, they will come.
Yep.
I think we should make a movie.
Yeah, I think that and have them walk out of like a cornfield or something.
Old
right?
people.
Yeah, have them walk out of a cornfield.
Like 1920.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe one of them was suspended from baseball.
Maybe.
My thoughts on it, Manfred's an idiot for sure. And, I agree with you. I think this team's close, and if you had a guy like Schwarber, they might be more than close. That's what they're missing, right? Their pitching staff's really good.
I was going to say, their pitching is good enough.
And there are rumors that they'll trade Hunter to get a bat or whatever. I don't believe it. Maybe they should.
I don't think they should, because they shouldn't have to.
No, just go out and sign somebody. You don't even need Schwarber.
Dude, their payroll is nothing.
And that stadium, that's the thing. Like here that's
payroll,
what
it's not like the Bengals where they have a salary cap.
Yeah.
I mean, their payroll is nothing.
Yep. And people will argue this, and I understand the argument in theory, but it's the same. It's the same to me. Like when people tell you and I both, we both hear it. It's ownership's fault. They're too cheap, and that's just not true anymore. And with the Reds, you're always going to hear, well, look at the Yankees or whatever, or the Dodgers. Fundamentally, I understand what you're saying, and I agree. Sure. But they're not maximizing what they're trying to do to win. And if they are and they can't win, that's a different. Now you've got that argument.
I mean, there's teams that aren't paying $250, $300.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
There's teams that do it, and they do it consistently.
Detroit and Cleveland's been good the last several years. They don't have the payroll. Tampa Bay's always competing.
Always competing.
And you got to sign some guys, though, right? You got to spend some money, and they're not doing it.
You can't rely on rookies or 3 and 5 year guys who hit 260 in the minor leagues to come up and think they're going to rake.
No, and they don't.
It's just not going to happen.
And to not hit, we're on a baseball rant here, but to not have somebody hit over 25 homers in 7 or 8 years, whatever it is, in that ballpark is inexcusable.
Very inexcusable.
I mean, you remember the Mitchell when he was older, Kevin Mitchell, Greg Vaughn, and those guys. You get a bopper like that on this team.
Oh, yeah.
With Deli and Matt McClain, hopefully be better. I mean, they can win. Frank Cona's a hell of a manager. People bashed on him. I didn't agree with everything he did, but I thought he got every last ounce out of it. I think he squeezed everything out of the turnip.
He knew what his offense was, though.
Yeah, that's why he had to play that way.
He tried to push some buttons, and sometimes it didn't work.
I wish they moved runners that ever played old school ball, but you got to have, and that sounds good in theory, and it makes sense. But when you don't have contact hitters or people can touch, you got guys striking out all over the place. It's just not going to happen, right? So that's our Reds beef there. But I kind of, from the inside people that, I kind of know there, I kind of knew this was going to be the strategy going in. Completely disagree with it, but from what I've heard, they're happy with their team. And it's not money. They just think they're going to be that much better next year. I don't know, man.
Well, I tell you, if they're going to be better, Matt McClain better be a lot damn
He's
better
got to
than
be
he
a
was
lot,
last year.
Lot better.
Without him, I'm telling you right now, they don't have enough bats.
And the rookie, what's his name? Sal, what's his name? You know what I'm talking about. But
yeah.
I think he's got potential. I really do think he's got potential. But when you got so many guys that just have potential, the old saying is, what that means is you haven't done shit yet because you got potential. And there's some truth to that. So, yeah, kind of frustrating. But the only thing worse than baseball in terms of Manfred is the NBA. basketball in general. I went to a high school game, told you about it. All they do is walk-offs. I don't know how any of you guys watch it. I don't understand it. The NBA itself posted something. The NBA posted, not someone else. What footwork by Grayson Allen, former Duke guy. He walked twice on one play.
I've seen it.
That's ridiculous.
He backed up and then took one crow hop.
It's a walk.
It's off.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. So you want to compare those guys to the old day, you guys are fools. They might win a Harlem Globetrotters contest, maybe. But when it comes to basketball, there's no defense. They can't do even the Jokic and all the good players. They can't do anything without traveling. There's no defense. Jordan would score 50 in this league. Bird would score 40 and have 20 rebounds, right? Yeah. What would Akeem and Shaq do in this league? It's a joke. So there we go. So they all suck. Football's kind of the closest. Hockey's a little close still. So that's the only thing you got. But all right, let's get to our beer segment. Stevie boy, I know you're dying to sip them down. You lush. Talk about what we got today, my friend.
We got Great Lakes Christmas Ale. First time drinking this. I know Scott's probably drank 100 of them in his lifetime.
More than that.
Or 7,000.
Yeah, way more than that. I've drank this for 10 years probably or so. So here we go. Such a good beer. Such a good beer. What are your thoughts on it?
1.5.
1.5? What are we rating on 5? Is that right?
Yeah.
I got it like 4.8. This is one of my favorite beers. 7.5% though. So you got to watch this sucker because it's easy going. You know, it's got cinnamon and everything in it. Like they say, do not open till Christmas. Whoever coined that phrase obviously hasn't tasted Christmas ale. Honey, cinnamon, and ginger flavor.
Oh, I'm sure if you like that beer, it's probably amazing.
Oh, I love it. And they're hard to find, or they used to be. Now you can get them pretty easy. But they're strong. They're no joke. If you got a little bit of allergies to them. So moving on for Christmas ale, and you're also sipping on something else over there, right? You got multi-beers.
I got me a Foster's.
Australian.
Yeah, 47,000 ounce can.
Yeah, put that can I gave you up there.
Oh, Foster's.
That's a monster. Bigger than your head.
Yeah. That
is saying something. That's a monster beer. I've been smoking a cigar here for a couple hours, but I got a punch cigar, which is really good. I'm going to open up another one here a little bit.
Actually, that Foster's ain't bad at all.
You like it?
I'll rate it. I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Really? Man. I've always thought you might be an Aussie.
A little bit.
You like Ozman videos, don't you? His funny videos. So there you go.
Sure.
You were a big fan of Crocodile Dundee too, right? No.
Maybe back when I was like 7.
I don't know that your sense of humor and your maturity's really improved since then.
Still, I didn't
like
7, 47.
Yeah.
I liked when I was 7.
Yeah, I get it. All right, let's recap the Bills. It's a tough one. So I had to miss half the game. I was following on the phone. You were texting me updates. Was that my
Loser.
So it was kind of funny, though. I'll try not to use names here. I've been close to her forever, but the instructor, we had a big crowd at the church, doing a recital. My daughter there, she was a nervous wreck. But as they're doing it, she gets up. I'm sorry, Scott, in front of everybody. What is that you do again? A blog? It's not a blog. It's a podcast. In front of everybody. Yeah, what is it? Beat the drum? No. It's bang. Which is hilarious, right? But she goes, I'm sorry, they're losing. So she's kind of giving updates. And, everybody, I was not rude. Some people there were rude. They were watching somebody's playing the piano, whether it was my daughter or not. I put the phone down, right? Then I'm checking the scores. But if you got an NFL Plus subscription, you just come home. It's right there, right then. Yeah. You don't get the all 22 right away, but you can go through and I figured out how to fast forward through commercials. You can zonk through it. So I watched the whole game, by 5 o'clock probably. So unfortunately, Pittsburgh, Baltimore as well. So the offense was humming for a bit, a couple fluky plays. I guess you could blame. People are blaming Joe for that. Maybe one of them you can.
It's just a hell of a play, dude.
It is. That's what I thought. No run game against what might be one of the worst run defenses in the league, which says a lot. What's your thoughts on the offense? I mean, that was a fun game for a while. The snow, ironically, I don't know if you caught that. Joe Davis, I'm hit and miss on him. Olsen's come a long way. I didn't like him at all.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
It's okay.
I think he continues to get better. Mm-hmm. But Davis does.
He does talk football.
He does.
He understands, and he'll say things that no other collar guy will say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
he's not goofy like he was at first. He came in to try to fit in. If you're going to fit in today, you got to be a goofy dipshit like Mark Ingram, Dave Portnoy, Pat McAfee, idiots everywhere. He did that for a while, but he's getting better and better. And Davis is solid baseball. But Davis said, I don't know if you caught this. We talked about it last week. He said, how about this snow game? This is like when I used to turn on Madden or whatever, and you automatically go in and create a snow game. We just talked about that. I thought that was kind of cool. The snow was good, but your thoughts on the offense as a whole versus that Bills defense?
So they tried to do what we talked about was they tried to get the run game going.
Yeah, it was just bad.
And honestly, when I went back, and I didn't go back and watch all of it since like week 5 or 6. I just quit doing it. You know, I go back and watch some on all 22 to this and that, but I don't know what it is with Chase sometimes, why he wants to run into the back of his offensive lineman.
Same as Mixon did.
I know.
And then P. Ryan's runs look different.
Exactly. Mixon did the same thing. It's like, but if you watch Cook wouldn't do that. The middle would be blocked up, and he would be patient enough just to do a little side
Keep
step.
space.
And exactly. And then watch his block, see what's happening, just to get enough to get 4, 5, 6 yards. Chase sometimes just wants to put his head down, and then he'll get 1 or 2 yards. I'm like, that's you can't keep consistently do that on first down.
Nope.
They try to do it. I'll give them credit for it. Then after a while, I mean, Joe was humming, right? It didn't matter if it was freaking snowing or not. Some of the that touchdown he threw to Chase in the end zone on the play.
On the run.
Just, I mean, phenomenal.
The throw to T was good, too. Great
catch.
catch.
Too, for running back. And for him to throw it to the running back in that situation is amazing.
He dropped one later that almost cost him, but
Yeah, T had some great ones. The PI that they never called on the touchdown blew my mind why the flag wasn't out there, but yet they throw this ticky-tack shit out of the field. Blows my mind. Holding. Well, how about the receivers catching a touchdown and he can't even lift his left arm up because he's been held.
So inconsistent. So inconsistent.
It just drives me crazy. Out of everything that we can talk about today, all the negatives and any of the positives, the most thing I am 100%, I won't say pumped because there's still some learning to do, but man, this offensive line is really starting to come together. It really is.
Yep.
Joe could do whatever he wanted. He got sacked 1 time. So in 2 games, he's been sacked twice. And the one last week was basically just a play action. P. Ryan couldn't get over to pick up the runner, and he got sacked. You know what I mean? It was, and that one was kind of fluky-ish. But, I mean, the offensive line is playing really well. Maybe not quite as good running the ball, but when it comes to pass pro and what they done, it's a shame they couldn't get Jamar involved a little bit more. They were clouding him a lot. Yoshi did okay. He had that one big drop, but just pretty much I thought offensively. I mean, they still scored 34 points. I mean, they scored on 6 of their 8 drives or something crazy. I mean, the thing was you still had that non-complimentary football, right? Yeah. Like there was a couple of times where the defense did this, but then the offense went 3 and out. That really freaking hurt them when they came out. I think it was after halftime. I think.
Yep.
You know, they went 3 and out. I'm like, you can't do that because your defense isn't that good. If one time they do it, you have to take advantage of it.
Yep.
You can't go down, kick a field goal, and you can't go down and punt or not get anything out of it. You have to get something out of that. And they didn't, and that possession killed him. And of course, the 2 at the end. He just made a hell of a play. I mean, and I don't know if you know this, but that was a run call. And what Joe seen was he seen him out of the corner of his eye. Well, so did Jamar. So when he took the snap, he went back. He never really had a good control of the football. It was almost like he almost shot putted it, right?
Yeah.
And because it was such a reactionary play, and it was a totally different play, he just didn't get the height. But here's the thing: even if he gets the height on that, the linebacker's charging, it may be picked off. If he had to throw it that high to get over top of him, I mean, it may have been bad. What he should have done was just hand the damn ball off.
Yep.
You know, and then take the yard or 2. Hell, even if it's a yard or 2 loss, you know, in hindsight, it is what it is. But, you know, you get tackled, you know, whatever, you live to play another day. So that didn't happen. The next series,
next play.
first play, tip ball, you
Can't do anything about
I mean,
that.
Jamar was wide open. He catches it, probably gets 7, 18
Yep.
yards. You know what I mean? Like I mean, that is what it is. And if you remember early in Joe's career, he had some issues with that.
Yeah.
But not so much here lately. Remember the Chicago game? He had like, what was it, 2 or 3 batted balls for interceptions?
21, yeah.
Yeah, and he did it like 2 times in a row or something, which is like, what? I mean,
Some of that's on the O-line because they're supposed to get their arms down, be close enough to
Right,
hit him.
right.
Hit him in the gut, those arms don't go up, right? Honestly. Sounds mean because it is mean. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Smack them in the gut.
But overall, I thought offensively, they played a pretty good ball game, and you was in Buffalo in a blizzard, and you put up 34 on a playoff team
Certainly
that
play the team.
has a damn good chance to do something if they get some momentum.
And they're not, people have written them off. I wouldn't write them off. I don't think they're good defensively at all. But that's the thing. Ohio State struggles with this a little bit. It's not apples to apples, but Ryan Day's kryptonite, for sure, is 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. First and goal from the 2 even, right? Because he doesn't set up a very good run game in those situations. Last year, Judkins, cured a lot of that. And I think Zach's the same way with his offense, right? And you look at it, I hate horizontal throws. It's one of my biggest complaint about Urban Meyer was that. Those stupid behind that. And Zach, too. How many games have we watched him lose because of that stupid play call? And, Joe checked to it or whatever, but they might work here and there, but I hate them. It's just the throw is easy, but then you're hoping for the block here, the block there. It's behind the line. They're shooting through it. I just never like them. And what I don't like about them, they did it. Ohio State did it against Indiana several times. If your quarterback's humming, like Stan was for stretches of that game, like Burrow was, you're taking his read out of that. There's no looking at the defense. There's no him seeing who's open, seeing it's catch the ball and throw it, right? And it's the same way when they do the fades in the end zone sometimes, right? All that kind of stuff. You're just completely taking the best qualities of both quarterbacks in this discussion out of it, right? And they did it several times. Ohio State did it against Indiana. I just don't like it. A lot of teams do it. I'm just not a fan of it. The Bears did it with Caleb Williams on the final interception, right? You're cutting the field in half. You're limiting his options. He can't run like he normally does. And then I just don't like it. But you look at that Bears team, their offensive line I think is probably better than the Bengals because they addressed it. But look what his offense can do, Ben Johnson. Couldn't run the ball last year. Look what they're doing now with him there. Yeah. They will run the football. Good luck, right? Because they're going to give the guys carries. And what that does for your quarterback, everything's not always on the quarterback. With the Bengals, pretty much for Burrow's whole career, everything's on him, right? That's tough. It's just tough to do it consistently, right? Which is why they won 10 games one year, which is not really that good when you're a championship level team. One good year in 22 because they don't play complimentary football, right? They don't run the ball, even when their defense is good. So it's a bad look. It was a fun game for a while, though, And the thing, defensively, we'll talk about defense, then we'll talk about Zach's decisions. Defensively, I'll start this one and turn it over to you. There's just my thing with Knight and Carter is this is stuff you got. That's why tape. I've said this for as long as I've done this. When I wrote draft guides and all that stuff, that's great. They did whatever at the combine. Great. You guys love that stuff. That's fine. You guys all go love it. I'll go watch them play football and check their instincts, right? Because sometimes a guy that doesn't run that fast, but he reads everything, is better than a guy that runs, linebacker runs 4.7, okay. The other linebacker runs 4.9, but he reads everything. What would you rather have? And he's physical. I'm taking the 4.9 guy. The Bengals, these last 3 or 4 years, what they don't go by Spark. What's the thing they go by? You know what I'm talking about? The rating system.
Raz?
Yeah, they love it. They love it. It hasn't worked out, dude. DJ Turner's it, right? I don't go by that. And that's why I think, I would do better than Duke Tobin because they go by all that stuff and they forget the tape. What matters is, you can run like a deer if you can't play football. That's all matters. You just go recruit or draft a bunch of guys that can run track, right? You know what I'm saying? The football instincts. You watch Knight and Carter, their instincts are awful. I mean, no feel for the game, no angles. The amount of tackles, it's not always just the tackles they miss. It's where they should have been there anyway, right? It's not always even about making a tackle. If you slow a guy down, get there, make him dance a little bit. Help comes. You know, you watch several teams there with younger coaches that are more fiery. You see their defenses running to the ball, right? Just cramming people. Denver's a perfect example of that. New England's a perfect example of that. You know, it's not one guy's there in the flat covering. You see 4 other guys coming, right? And they're laying the lumber when he slows down. You don't see that with the Bengals. One guy's there in the flat, misses tackle, he gone, right? What are they doing? Like, it's still just a train wreck. And we talked about last week, I thought it was. I think I'll say, like, Osai and Murphy are getting some pressure, which is a good thing to see. But overall, the way they tackle, and I'm going to talk about somebody later, but the way assistant coach, talking about tackling for another team, the way they tackle fundamentally and the way they do everything fundamentally, across the board really, is a disgrace, and it's a knock on the coaching staff. That defense, if they go into next year, I think even with Zac and Duke, that's a different discussion. But if they go in with this defense, it's going to be a long year. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it was probably the worst called game of the year in my opinion. He did what I wanted to do. I wanted to see a lot of man, a lot of cover one. But what the problem was, he wasn't leaving spies in. And when you turn your back to the defense like that, and you're giving Josh one read, and then maybe a quick second, and be like, "I hell with it." And I guarantee you, on the 40-yard run, and then the last run, it was mainly like, look, take off. And that's what it was. And it was because they knew all game long they had played a lot of cover one, a lot of quarters, and that he basically just waited for them to turn their back, and then he took off and got whatever he wanted.
The big play, everybody's going to talk about his run at the end. Understandably so, and I agree with it. That goal line situation, it was 3rd or 4th down where they scored.
4th down.
4th down.
4th and 2 or 3.
The season is on the line right there. He drops Osai into coverage.
And only rushes 3.
Oh my gosh!
And then their 3 worst pass rushers are on the field.
You can't generate. You've struggled all year generating heat anyway. I'm bringing the fire on that play.
I'm the opposite. Yes.
I'm lighting his ass up. If he makes a play, he makes a play. But he's getting hit. He is getting hit.
Yep.
And so you see it with Golden Heat. We were hoping he's learned his lesson. He has not learned his lesson. And big moments, man. That was a big moment for your season. He goes soft. They play on their heels. Allen has forever. You know, if you're playing, like if you're playing Rodgers maybe a little bit, or Lamar banged up, or some of the, even Trevor Lawrence and those guys, you can play like that, I think, and probably come out on top. When you're playing anywhere near the upper echelon of quarterbacks, you're giving that kind of time, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
There's just, and that's not even with the rules the way it is. It's all time. If you're doing that against Montana back then or Favre or whatever, and you're going to let them sit back there all day, you're done. I don't care how good your defense is. Yeah. Inexcusable. And that part is so frustrating to watch. You agree? I just have a hard time.
I do.
The lack of aggression.
He should have been way more aggressive throughout the game, especially when, I know you have that to where when you bring pressure and it's snowing, a little slight move here or there, and you're the defense. It's, the offense knows where they're going, defense don't. So you get a lot of whiffs that way, and they're already bad. I get all that, but at least you're making him move and be uncomfortable.
And it's quicker.
That 4th and 3 was just, he sat back there 5, 6, 7 seconds.
Gosh. It's awful.
And when you drop that many, and then dude's still wide open. You know what I mean? It's inexcusable. It's embarrassing.
It is.
It's embarrassing that they can't cover tight ends. It's
my gosh.
It's week in and week out. They can't cover tight ends.
That's their strength, right?
Yeah, and the defensive line is probably playing twice as good as what they did, say 7 or 8 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
Easily. And honestly, Murphy has really surprised me because I've said it on here. Like his burst and what he was trying to do, this and that, it just didn't seem to be there. Now all of a sudden, he's getting pushed back. He's got a little bit of a swim move. He's going inside. He's going outside. Maybe it's starting to click. Because I tell you what, it better because, they got a lot. They got a lot coming this offseason, and this defense, they got to put some resources in it
again.
And honestly, I would just hit reset, keep about 3 players, and just shit can the rest of them.
Yep. DJ's a player. I think he's going to be okay.
Yep.
Safeties are horrible yet again. People defend them; they were awful.
Gino's gone.
Yeah, he gone.
He gone.
And linebackers, they're not gone probably because they're young, but they're not good. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And the old saying is like, what you're trying to do, that third and long run, when you blitz, you're trying to get the quarterback to get rid of the ball quick. So he checks down and you make the tackle. It's third and 15, whatever it was. You give up 10, they punt.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do that. He just takes off running. There's nobody there. I mean, that's this.
And you can still blitz with a spot.
Oh yeah, you got to put
I mean?
pressure
I mean,
on.
you can still do it. You got to have somebody. And to be honest, and I heard this on Locked On. James brought up a good point. He said, "Who would you even feel comfortable even spying on Josh in that situation?" And he's right.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nobody that I would even because no one's athletic enough. None of them can tackle. None of them take good angles. And really, that's all of them. Like even the DBs. It's not like that's their forte, right? They're not supposed to be super aggressive at the line of scrimmage. That's not what they're doing. They're covering wide receivers.
Yep.
So, but you expect these safeties to come up and do something to these linebackers, and they're just not worth a damn.
Thing is, like if you blitz on that play, then help. His chances of getting out of there and getting, you play zone, you blitz, and a zone's going to keep everything in front of you, right? Which I don't like normally, but in that case, I would like. You blitz, he's going to get rid of the ball, or you move around, then you attack him, right? They didn't do it. It's amazing. You see it in some situations, but then I think people there's differing opinions on this, but knowing your defense, knowing Allen, knowing the situation, the time you're going to get the ball back, the field position you're likely going to get the ball back, even if you do stop him, the points you're down, in that weather, onside kick the damn football. And you do it, who knows in that weather, it's a hard ball to catch, right? You get even a decent onside kick right there, the ball's going everywhere. Your chances of getting an onside kick with the new rules aren't very good. In that situation, they go up by insert percentage, then you got a chance, right? That was your only chance to win the game. Zach he's just so uneven through his whole career. We've seen him do so many things that are dumb aggressively, and then when it's right time to be somewhat aggressive or just smart, he shrinks up, right? He shrivels. Just amazing to me. I don't know if anybody's been talking about that. You've been listening about the onside kick?
Nobody's really saying anything. I think most people, I lean more, I understand what you're saying, but I always understood that they have the timeout, the 2-minute warning. So
they would have got the ball back with like a minute.
Yeah.
Down 5 on the probably 5 or 10 yard line.
But if they did it at the 50 or whatever, it don't matter anyway. The game's over.
Well, they do. If they get the ball, the game's over. But your chance, if you get the ball, the game's not over.
Sure.
You kick it to them, I would have, rest assured, I would have said, kick in, game's over.
I still think the percentage is probably bigger to stop Buffalo on 3 downs than what it is to
with that defense.
Recover. Well,
no,
onside kick. I mean,
but
they have did it this year. They did against Chicago.
Yeah.
So,
but
it's happened.
You think about it. You get the ball back. You're way less than a minute. You're probably on your 20 at best. So you got to go 80 yards less than a minute with a timeout left. Good luck, right? I mean, that's tough.
They did it to possession before.
Yeah,
but they scored like a minute and something, and
Buffalo would have played it differently. And,
probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mind that decision for him to do. There was a lot of decisions, pretty much most of them, but I didn't mind that decision.
I just envision him by his conversation. So he said, we'll get into what we think about the season now. It's over, and we'll talk about it. But he said today he loves anxiety. And my question to him is that why you don't start your team out ready to play? Is that why they're never ready so you can get some anxiety and you can feel that? Like he says some of the dumbest shit. And, I think most Bengal fans probably only listen to him. But you go around and listen to other coaches, they don't say the stupid shit he says, right? None of them do. The stuff he says, you're like, I just can't imagine being in a team meeting with this guy. And I've said it for years. I'm not jumping on him now. I've been on this the whole time. Like, I just can't imagine being in a meeting with him thinking this guy knows what he's talking about. Let's go get him. He just doesn't. It's just the same old stupid stuff. I've listened to several coaches and several coordinators over the last 3 years just to hear last 3 or 4 weeks to hear what they say. This doesn't make any sense, right? Like, you look at that Pittsburgh team, I don't think they're very good at all. But Tomlin's winning again, right? And that's because of him, right? I think it hurts him in the long run because he's going to be better than what they should. They never get a high pick, whatever. If you hear people talking about it now with Stefanski, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. He did a bonehead play at the end of the Browns game. I'm not real big on him like some people are, but supposedly if he gets fired, somebody will hire him right away. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. I guarantee it's true with Tomlin and Harbaugh, right? I don't like either one of them. They hit the open market. They're on the open market for a day or whatever they have to do, the Rooney Rule. As soon as that's hit, those two are hired. That is not the case with Zach Taylor. So that's the uphill battle you got as a Bengals organization every year, not to mention you've got Duke Tobin, right? I don't care if you have Burrow, T. Chase, and some other stars. You're competing not necessarily against those players. You're competing against those franchises that have legitimate coaches and legitimate GMs. Tough to overcome. You agree? Incredibly tough to overcome.
I do. Yeah, he says some crazy things at times. I don't know. I just want to change. I want to reboot.
Absolutely.
I want to have a different energy. I want some fire. I want a different feel. I mean, there's nothing wrong with his style of coaching, but I don't think he does that style of coaching well. And he's not a rah-rah. He's not a cusser. And that's not who he is. But there is coaches who are laid back and that does that. Dick Vermeil was a hell of a coach, dude.
He was fiery.
He was, but he wasn't.
He cried and all that, but he was.
He was nothing like what Vrabel and a lot of them guys are.
He wasn't necessarily, but he was passionate, and you could feel it, and the team feels it. Like I'm not saying this guy's going to be a good coach, but the Giants interim coach. So I've watched half of it. That it's called Hard Knocks End Season's on right now. I forgot about it. I kept thinking, when's that coming out? And I noticed it today. So I watched half of it. That Kafka guy, he gets his team motivated, right? They're just not very good. But he'll probably get a job at some point. But he's fired. He's saying, we're not going to put up with this. What we're putting on the field is inexcusable. You can make all the excuses you want, but when owners and GMs of other teams see how you're playing where all of our names are on it, it's not good enough. It's unacceptable. I can't hear Zach saying that. I believe in my guys. Pat you on the ass. I believe in my guys. It's just how he, like you said, it's just tired and old. And and I've said this before, as an old, I think he was a CEO / something or other. He was kind of my mentor or whatever. He told me, because I was a little rough as a manager, right? And he said, maybe tone it down a little bit, but a player's coach, their impact is that much because he's a sports guy. He loves Notre Dame. He said eventually that player's coach is going to fall away because nobody's going to listen to him. They're going to take advantage of him. It doesn't work. And I think he's right. And you see it at every level, right? You watch, any coach, Ryan Day probably got more success because it became harder. He's a tough ass now, right? What's Harbaugh? San Diego, right? Or Chargers. I don't think they're that good either. I don't think Denver's that good either. But he's getting every ounce of them. They drive people, right? It wouldn't be fun to play for him, I don't think. But it'd be fun at the end because they're grinding you all the time, right? Yeah. And they're going to Vrabel joke around, and I think he's got enough personal skills to, Belichick did when he was in New England. He'd joke with him, loosen up here and there. When they got on a winning streak, he'd be all over him. You wait till you see Schottenheimer, right? He is not like his dad. His dad was rough, but not in this way. He's dropping F-bombs every second, and he pulled the team over. It didn't work because they're on a run, right? 2 games in a row. He goes, that's it. Come over here. You guys are living on your reputation now. People are saying something good about you. Is that what we're going to do around here? Unacceptable. Horrible pride. He's on their face. That's what you want as a head coach, right? 17 games is a long season. You pick your moments. You can't be a hard ass all the time, but you should be some of the time. I mean, you got to, and I think Zach just wants to be their buddies and, cuddle with them. And, he's like a fanboy or a cheerleader, right? So, anyway, I think most people are starting to see that. The draft slot, they are currently at 10th. A lot of people think they won't stay there given the schedule. Probably true. They don't have enough foresight to do that, and I think Burrow would be pissed. I'd let him play this game and maybe the Miami game, and I'd yank him.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
It would other franchises when they're done.
I don't think he would with Joe.
Yeah, he won't be happy about it. But, I'd say he pulled a hamstring. I'd say he done whatever. You're out of it. We want to see what our backups can do. Other teams would do that for sure, right? They do it every year. You see them not playing, but I don't think they'll do it. So I think for the best interest of the Bengals, it's better they lose to the Ravens on Sunday. And it's better they lose the game at Miami. They got flexed out. So that's a 1 o'clock game now, I think, not a Sunday night game. So if those 2 games, you lose those 2 games, then the most you could get, 6 wins or whatever, you will be a top 10, top 12. The good thing about the draft order is the teams below them, meaning worst picks like 11, 12, all that, some of those teams are going to win games. Chiefs are going to win games, right? There could be Baltimore's probably going to win games. So some of those teams right there, Minnesota, I don't know about that team, but the teams above them, I don't know how much they're going to win. They play each other a few times, which will help. But honestly, like we said 2 years ago, and even last year, we both said it. They really need to lose, and they didn't. And it cost us some big time players, right? And that's how it looks now. So what do you think? What do you think they finish now? What are they, 4-9? Is that right? You got 4 games left. I'll run through the games off the top of my head. You got Baltimore at home, at Miami, Arizona, a horrible team at home, and then Cleveland at home. The Browns team might come to play with Shedeur playing now. He's actually playing pretty well. Played a bad defense. So those 4 games, what do you think the record is? And those 4 games and where they end up?
Honestly, probably 6-11. There's some games in there that they're probably still going to win. Who knows what they do against Cleveland at the end of the year. Miami,
they're playing well.
They're playing well.
Surprisingly.
I mean, I'm guessing about 6-11. But it also wouldn't surprise me if they win 4 in a row.
They could, certainly could. I hope not, because it doesn't do you any good.
No.
Everybody, we've had this discussion many, many times. I've had it more times than I've been on the podcast. I've had it on other podcasts. People say, oh, that's a good streak to win the year. That carries over next year. No, it doesn't. None of it carries over. Now, one thing you do, you want to develop some of the younger players, but the winning streak doesn't carry over. The we feel good about ourselves doesn't carry over. The we feel bad about ourselves doesn't carry over. None of it carries over. It's a whole new season. Look at the league right now. It's a whole new season, so you're better off to lose. I'll say it again. Get Zac and Duke's ass out of here. Do it now. We talked about this 2021, right out of the gate, the Minnesota game. They turned out better that year than you and I thought. Probably what we thought in 22, and that's it, right? The rest of the year's nowhere near as good as what we thought. We termed it, season tickets going to them, the golden age of Bengals football was coming. It hasn't really been that, has it?
Oh, no. Not even close.
It's a shame.
Yeah. I mean, Burrow's he turned 29 years old today.
Yep.
And you won one AFC championship and no Super Bowls. So,
yep.
I mean, some of that's just, the biggest key to this whole thing is Joe staying healthy.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest key to everything that Cincinnati football stands for, is to him stay healthy. I think putting together a better offensive line is going to help him do that. But the longevity of him and what this organization can do, and hopefully and we've seen it, they've made some changes. They've been small changes, but they have made some changes in their philosophy. Let's hope I don't even know why I'm saying this, because they're not going to do it. I'm sitting there just for the freaking podcast, and I'm trying to be positive, but it's hard to do because I don't feel like they're going to do anything. They're not going to make any changes. They may go out. I mean, let's be honest. In to 20 to 21, 21, 22, they made some really good free agent pickups.
Yeah, the B.J. Hill trade, the Trey Hendrickson signing.
Yeah.
Von Bell.
Hilton. I mean, you go down the line, you know, and they did a lot. Logan Wilson draft. I mean, they did a bunch. Jermaine Pratt came into it. They did some good things. It's not like they can't do it, and maybe it's time for them to do it. But they're going to have to, because before you know it, Joe's going to be 33, 34. We're going to look back and go, shit.
Yep. My thought process on it was back then, I said it then, as soon as you drafted Burrow, I would have fired Duke, fired Zac, got a real GM, got a real head coach, not hindsight, said it then. And, we talked about it once they became that championship window then opened. I said, no one in that building knows how to do this. It's a whole different game, right? I know somebody that's a huge Indiana fan, football, and Signetti's done a great job. He said the real challenge is going to be, though, when you get better recruits in. It sounds weird. If you get better recruits in, they're not going to listen to you as much. And he can't win with these guys all the time. You're going to have to get talent. So does he know how to win? You see that in college all the time. You see it in pros all the time. When you get to a certain level, is that the coach that can get you to that next level? People will dog Phil Jackson. Well, we had Jordan and Kobe. How many titles did Jordan and Kobe win without Phil Jackson? I'll answer that for you real quick. Zero. And it might have stayed that way, right? Kobe was floundering around. Phil comes back. He wins it because he knew what to do. He knew how to motivate. He knew how to treat a superstar team, right? I don't think anyone, I know no one in that building knows how to do it, right? They're used to trying to get from 3 wins to 7 wins. That's a whole different thing, right? Whole different thing. And like you and I just said, Baltimore and Pittsburgh is not a good team, but they are good franchises. We hate them, but you can't argue that, right? They're always in the mix of it because they know what they're doing. They haven't won playoff games in a long time, and it's been tough, but they're always competitive, right? You don't see that downslide and all that kind of stuff. So, you think about it, you look at it. I'll talk about my top coaching candidates, and, probably not going to happen like you said, but you look at the linebackers Duke's drafted. You look at here's what they could have done. They cut Burton this week. We'll talk about him in a second, get your thoughts on that. But to get Sean Payton, it required a trade. And, people didn't want to do it. How's that working out for Denver? You would have traded Miles Murphy and Jenkins are the picks. I'd trade them in a heartbeat for Sean Payton right now. You? Yeah, in a New York second.
Sure.
So that's how you got to think about things. People love draft picks until you put that face on the draft picks. We talked about that numerous times. So everybody loves a first-round pick, a second-round pick, or whatever. Then you see who those turn out to be a year or two later. All of a sudden, they're not worth as much. Mm-hmm. So the better players and the better coaches are worth more than the draft picks when you've already got Burrow, Chase, and T, right? You don't need some 20-year-old that doesn't know what he's doing, right? Yep. You need veterans in there. That's my point. That's what New England's done with Mayer.
That's got to happen next year.
Yeah, it has to.
They can't lean on the draft. The draft needs to be pieces. They got to go to free agency to build this defense.
Yep. Look at the Rams. We talked about it.
They got to do.
Rams have had one first-round pick in like 7 or 8 years. They've won a championship. Could have very easily won it last year. One of the favorites, if not the favorite, I think now, to win it again. Will they win it? Will they not? I don't know. But I know they're in contention, right?
Sure.
That's a real head coach. That's a real GM. That's what they do. It's amazing. Burton's gone. Kind of saw the writing on the wall. I didn't like the pick when they made it. Thought it was a horrible pick at the time. Just didn't understand it. And then you hear all this stuff leading up to the draft, all his boneheadedness. We saw him on the street one time. We're like, so weird. He's walking into the game, walking down what's that called? What do they call that now? Right when you walk in the stadium, what do they call that area now? Where the Holy Grail and all that stuff is. I can't think of the term now. The banks. He's walking down there on his own in jogging pants, walking to the game in front of everybody. Like, that dude's weird, man. You see it. I mean, it's a 4th-round pick. There are other players you could have had there, but
3rd-round pick.
3rd-round pick, even worse. It's just like that's the scoring system you just mentioned. He grades well on that, for sure. But was he ever really that good in football? Not really. Right. And they draft him. Now he's gone. Your thoughts on the whole Burton fiasco?
Just wasting a 3rd-round pick. I mean, even the Bengals have had great 3rd-round picks. Geno Atkins was a 3rd-round pick. I mean, what could have been?
Zach Carter, right? Just over and over.
Yeah. So he had 4 catches in his NFL career. 4 freaking catches. And honestly, why they kept him this long, I really don't know. It goes back to that.
That's your culture.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's really your culture.
You think somebody is who he isn't, and then you hope that he grows up. But it's not like the kid hadn't been around. Alabama, Georgia, I mean, those are big programs, right? He's seen pretty much anything up to the NFL that he was going to see. Big games, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt that the kid had talent, but I mean, if you're just straight up goofball, you're just straight up goofball.
He wasn't the number one at either school either. He left one because that's just who he is.
So just another missed opportunity.
Yep,
pretty much
a big one. And you think about it, people think the culture is, they like Zach. That's not a culture. Culture is accountability, right? A winning culture is accountability. That's a culture. But a winning, you can throw out the Paytons or the Parcells and all those guys. You think he'd still be with the team this long with those guys? You think they'd play nice with him in the media?
They've been cut first year.
Would they play nice with him in the media? He's not doing his job. Remember, he called Terry Glenn a little extreme. Terry Glenn's light years better than that guy, right? Terry Glenn was an all-pro player. he called people out. They all would. The winners would. Zach's just going to baby, and the whole organization's baby. Well, it's the same reason they got Zac and Duke there, right? Well, he gets along well with the family. The family really likes him. Is this a family furniture store, Stevie Boy, or is this football? It's football, to win football games. That doesn't translate at all to me. Just very, very soft. Unfortunately. All right, Trey Hendrickson, done for the year. Bengals career over. Not good.
Not good at all. Kind of seen the writing on the wall probably weeks ago. I think they thought maybe he would try to play through it, is why they didn't put him on IR. He pretty much just, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. And now he said, I'm going to have this core muscle surgery. I mean, honestly, it's probably, let me phrase this correctly, it's probably the best for the team for the situation that they're in right now.
They were in playoff mode, real playoff chances.
Right.
It wouldn't be, but
right.
yes.
And I'm talking about the future also. Like if he says, okay, I'm gonna have surgery, but I still want to be a Bengal, and I want to be a Bengal next year. I don't know. Like if it's me, we sit here and we dog Duke, we dog Katie, we dog Mike, whoever. They did the right thing by not signing him to a multi-year.
We kind of agree with that at the time.
And we did. So this just kind of says, okay, they kind of maybe seen it coming, or it just so happened that this was the year that he had the injury.
He might come back next year and be good, right?
But when you got this many young guys, they have to play. And I think you're starting to see Osai and Murphy.
Yep.
Because of them playing, start reaping those benefits of being on the field, getting the snaps, seeing all these different linemen and how they're going to put their hands on them, how they're going to take them off the line of scrimmage, what they're going to do at the snap, all them kind of things are starting to feel. And it's not like they're not killing it. Let's be honest.
No, they're okay.
But you can tell that they have improved.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for Osai, it's a little of a disappointment since this is like year 4 or 5 anyway.
He's a free agent, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. But for Murphy, this is and is going to be huge these next 4 or 5 games. And to see what kind of player that is he going to continually get better? But this whole trade thing, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of dealing with it. I'm just it's that whole reset button, right?
Yeah.
You just hit it. Let's just get rid of it. Let's hope Shamar can come in and be something next year. The problem is he's basically going to be a rookie next year, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think he's probably going to be doubtful for this week. You know what I mean? So he probably ain't going to play this week either. So
I wouldn't think so.
What do you do there? I mean, do you just say, okay, you got 2 games left? Well, do you want him to get experience, or do you just say, well, let's just shut him down and let him start again fresh next year? Well, guess what? He's a rookie.
Yeah, I think he'll
played
get
like 3 freaking games.
Yeah, I think he'll get snaps. He's back. For those of you who don't know, he's on that 21-day window or 20-day window, whatever it is. So he's back at practice. He practiced today. Opened it up. I think I'd be surprised if he played, but he might. You never know. Kind of windy out there. We'll see. The Murphy pick I did not like. I actually like the Osai pick. I like the Osai pick.
We know who we wanted.
Yeah, I liked Osai though.
Yeah.
I thought, watching his college, I thought he has a chance. I like the Shamar pick. I didn't like the Turner pick, and he's finally starting to come in. Didn't like Dax Hill. Didn't like Zach Carter. I mean, most of them I didn't like, right? But I thought Osai had talent, but just a little raw, right? I think that whole play in the Kansas City game, not to be weird, but I think it just impacted him, right? I just don't think he was playing pretty decent right then. Kind of tough. All right, here we go. So they're flexed out for the Dolphins game, which we talked about. So that's kind of the wrap-up of this season. They're done now. They can say what they want. Well, he pulled the old Dumb and Dumber. So you're telling me there's a chance, not even trying to. There's very little chance, right? Very little chance. Had they won, the New England game, which now you look back, maybe Joe should have played. That's the thing. I didn't think they should have because you just didn't know where he was at. But 2 games in 4 days, so I understood it. But they knew where he was at, right? They knew he could run around like that. So it doesn't really make sense why you didn't play him, honestly. I don't know.
Say this though.
I don't know if they'd won that game or not. Anyway.
If Pittsburgh loses this week, and the Bengals win this week, and Baltimore loses this week, all the bandwagoners, all the people that's going to start hollering, there'll be 2 games back out. There'll be what?
3 games left. Whew.
Oh yeah, it makes it tough. But I think Pittsburgh also got
They play each other last week, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, so one of them's going to win.
Right. So you would hope that Baltimore beats Pittsburgh and Baltimore loses this week and Pittsburgh loses this week.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, there's a shit ton of that. Now, hey, there was worse things that happened last year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there was like a billion things that had to happen and it happened. I'm not even trying to be optimistic. My point is, I don't think Baltimore's good, and I don't think Cleveland's good. So if the Bengals do win out, I said this 2 weeks ago. There's a guy at work. He's a Bengals hater, but he doesn't like anybody. He just like giving any. He's one of them guys that if you're
whoever you like, he's razzing.
Yeah, exactly. So and he gives Ben crap about the Cowboys, and he basically he just kept 9-8, $100. 9-8. I said, I'm not betting you that they're going to win out, dude. I said, that's not including they just won this past week. I said, it'd be like 6 games right. I said, that's not, I'm not betting you that. He just kept going on and on. I didn't care. I still didn't bet the damn bet. So, of course, he comes in. Yesterday was his first day back. And, of course, he just looked at me real funny and smirked. And I said, it don't even matter because I told him 3 weeks ago after that Baltimore game, I said, look, I said, I think and I really believe that the division may be won at 8-9. And I still think it could be won at 8-9. I don't mean the Bengals are going to be 8-9, but I'm just saying, they're just not very good. I know Pittsburgh played well last week. I get it, and they were physical, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if it's sustainable. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers can do it. It probably helped Rodgers that he was out a little while.
He played well.
Maybe re-energized him a little bit, gave him a rest. It's probably the best thing for him.
Yep, he played well.
I mean, I'm just saying. There's a very good possibility 8-9 point in the division.
You watched I liked Rodgers when he was at Green Bay. I know a lot of people did. I liked him a lot at Green Bay. Can't root for him now, of course. But you watch their games, he'd be missing. Guys were getting open on those deep balls, including against the Bengals. And he just barely missed them. He hit them last week, right? Mm-hmm. He still can sling it. It's amazing. Yeah. That Hail Mary, go back to that. But I think it's going to take 9-8, and I don't even know. Pittsburgh, now, Baltimore's 6-7. They still have a shot at the wild card a little bit. You look at Houston's schedule, though. We'll talk about that in the NFL. Wild card's going to be tough to get in, right? Mm-hmm. Very tough. So we'll talk about the AFC North and what that looks like shortly, but we'll get into the Ratbirds preview yet again. It is going to be cold, Steve. We're not going to be there. It's going to be 14 degrees. We might have suffered through it. We would have suffered through it if it was the real game. We thought it really, really mattered. But I think the high's down to 15, 14, something like that. That's cold, dude, on the river.
That's even going to what I've seen. So I've seen 18 or 19.
Yeah,
so
I think they changed it again.
Well,
that was for here.
That could be worse level there.
Yeah,
that's when you're hurting.
Yeah.
Standing there for 4 or 5 hours. Ooh, boy.
Yeah, that's tough. Be interesting to see what kind of crowd there's going to be there. The tickets still in demand a little bit, right? We sold them to somebody we know.
Joe's back.
He's back, and they're a whole lot more fun team to watch, right? Sure. It's nothing against Flacco, but what we said, people saying, "Oh, maybe this offense, Flacco's looking good." Like they're going to figure him out. Not knocking him. He played tough. He played hurt. He did a lot of stuff. There's only so much he can do. I don't even mean just throwing on the run. Burrow can make all the throws to anybody. Everybody's a target now. When Flacco's there, Chase and T are the targets, right? Brings up the question, before we get to Ratbirds, that T situation, I can't really blame the Bengals for that. I don't know. I don't think you can.
You can.
But it doesn't look good.
Because it's an independent specialist that's doing that.
What are they doing now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Usually they overreact and pull somebody in the tent. I don't think he plays.
Did you hear that he called for the second one?
Did he really? Yeah.
He called for the second one, and they still said they was fine. They could go.
Then he went to Zac or whoever, at headquarters there and said, not feeling real well. I don't think I'd let him play, man.
No, I don't.
You get into some dangerous territory. For him as a person, first of all, I like T. But also for T in next year, you never know what that can do to your life, first of all.
Yeah. Then
your career going forward. He's getting too many of them now. His body, we've talked about it before. he's so long. He takes hits that Jamar's not going to take. Right? He's so long and rangy, and when he falls, even his body's still on his head to him back. Like what he needs to do, I'm joking, but halfway not joking. He needs to go to like a jiu-jitsu school or judo school to teach you how to fall. That's what the first thing they teach is that your head doesn't go back, right? Because he's getting that whiplash a lot. That's a dangerous game, man, dangerous game. But he played really well, some amazing catches, but makes it a little tougher on Sunday without T, certainly, if he doesn't play, which I don't think he will. Ratbirds come to town. I watched a decent amount of that Pittsburgh game on replay. Baltimore came back, could have very easily won that game. Pittsburgh, that game was physical, dude. They were hitting each other. Pittsburgh was bringing it. Baltimore's backed in a corner. They didn't like the loss on Thursday night. But I just still don't – I think he's hurt, and proves my point that, if he can't run around, same with Hurts, same with Mahomes, just not the same player as we saw in both games. But he made some runs in the Pittsburgh game. Even the announcer said he kind of looked like his old self. What do you think the Bengals does this time, the Bengals D does this time versus Baltimore's offense?
I think it's going to be totally different.
I do too,
unfortunately. It's going to be totally different. They still may pull it out, but it ain't going to be, they're not going to win by, two or three scores. If they win, it'll be at the gun. It'll be something. It's going to be cold. I think running the ball. We say this, but then who knows about Joe Burrow, right? I don't think Lamar's going to have a very good passing game. I really don't. But if these tight ends run wide open,
which they could
all day long, it doesn't take a miraculous quarterback to make them throws. So, I think it's going to be a little bit more low-scoring game, but I actually think they're going to win, but it's going to be like, I don't know, 24-23, something like that.
You jumped in, made your pick.
I know.
The announcer on the game kept saying they'd be favored to win the rest of their games, and I'm tweeting it during the game. I was like, no, they're not. Baltimore's going to be favored, right? I don't know what he was.
I think he was thinking if they win.
I don't think that the spread was already
maybe
out.
Not. He may not have been thinking that.
Well, the spread was already out, right? He was thinking that. He was saying they are favored, or they will be, but they're not because the spread was already out for that game. If you looked at it, it's a tight spread, but they're the dog at home, right? So, I think Baltimore's. I don't think they're that good a team, like you said. We talked about it, but I don't think they knew what to expect on that Thursday night game. We didn't either with Burrow, right? So I think how strategically how they approach that game on both sides of the ball will be a whole lot different. They know now what they're getting, right? They're getting Burrow playing really well. So I think they attack the Bengals offense differently, and Teal hurt. But I also think they attack in terms of run game and what they're doing offensively different. I got Baltimore winning in a close one. I do think Joe played pretty well. But I think they're going to run the ball down their throats, what I think. I think Henry and Lamar, they did a good job against them last time, but I think they'll run the ball, and I think he's going to make plays.
And they don't play well at home for whatever reason. They're a 500 team at home, which makes it really tough for season ticket holders.
Yep, it does. Yep.
That it's not like we're going to a game going, this is a win. They're at home. They play what? No, they're probably a little bit better actually on the road. I don't know their splits, but they're pretty damn good on the road, and at home
when they had a good team there, they were pretty good at home, right? They turned it up a little bit, but like we said, they should be playing for home field every year with Burrow, Chase, and T, and that's the indictment on the organization. So we're going to tie in coaching picture with the AFC North and playoff picture. So you're picking Bengals in a tight one. I'm picking Baltimore in a tight one.
I'm definitely picking the cover.
Yeah, what is it, 2.5, 2, something like that?
Something like that. And it may move some.
So what's your pick overall, though, just straight up?
I'll go 24-23 Bengals.
Yeah, so you're picking Bengals, I'm picking Baltimore in a tight one. I don't know. When the game's going on, like we said, I'll be rooting for the Bengals, of course. I can't imagine rooting for Baltimore hardly in any situation. I guess we could last week if it came out of that, but I hate them with a passion, but I think they win that game. So Harbaugh, like him or not, I do not. I don't like him or his brother. They both can coach, right? They flat out can coach. Whole family can coach. So it'll be a fun game to watch, I think. It'll be cold, old school style game, I think. So we'll see. I expect a good crowd there. I don't know how many Ratbird fans will be there.
Probably a good bit.
Think so, even because they're not playing that well either. But
they travel well.
Yeah, we'll see. So, all right, looking at coaches, there's a lot of talk about coaches now with the Bengals. Zac's kind of on the hot seat, kind of not. Some people in the know say he is. For me, it's Mike McCarthy is up there, right? But Jeff Hafley, the defense coordinator for Green Bay, that's who I'd hire. I already had this down. I guess Aikman said something about it. I didn't see it. I don't know if you did. I don't know exactly what he said. I don't know if you heard it. But somehow I just saw the headline. He floated his name out. So they'll say Micah Parsons, which is absolutely true. But he did the same thing with the Packers defense last year. He coached at Ohio State in 2019, defense coordinator. He coached at Boston College 3 or 4 years. You say he's only a game or two over 500, whatever it was at Boston College. Look at him now with O'Brien. Look at him historically. He did a hell of a job, decided he didn't want to do it, jump back in the pros. So I listened to it. It's posted on BTD Podcast. We'll talk about that in a second. BTD Podcast Bengals on YouTube. Posted a short of him talking about tackling. Somebody asked him about one of his players missing a tackle, like on a bubble screen or something like that. Well, first of all, he goes through all the details you have to do tackling. And he's describing everything the Bengals don't do. He goes, we work on that. We are going to work on that, and he will correct it. Right? He's talking through how you fundamentally break down. Keep in mind, he coached offense way back when, right? And now he's coaching primarily defense. I'd take that guy to New York second right now. Jesse Minter, what he's doing with that Chargers defense, I don't think they're that good from a roster standpoint, right? It helps them with the run game, and certainly their quarterback's really good. But I think Jesse Minter's a hot Kubiak on the offensive side. Marcus Freeman, if he's out there. We talked about, Dave Shula's son. I think he's a big-time candidate. I'd take any of those guys I just mentioned over Zac Taylor in a heartbeat. And I'm more and more I go through and look at teams and how they're winning and what they're doing. I think the league always shifts, right? It's a copycat league, and it always shifts. And you see those guru like McVay, and he's certainly a hell of a coach, one of the best. Everybody was going to that young guru type. Hasn't worked out real well. Those old school Harbaugh type, Vrabel type, gritty, grindy type coaches are back in vogue, right? Hafley's that, Mentor's that, Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame, he's mad there. He may be tired of them not playing in a conference because they're going to get the shaft. And I told my buddy he's a big Notre Dame fan, like, no offense here, they kind of deserve it. You're not going to go play in the conference. You kind of get – they're not playing a bowl game. They're getting a bunch of grief on that. I agree with Freeman on that. Yeah. Like, I'm not piling on him for that. That dude's a leader. I talked about there's multiple types of leaders, right? There's a coach, there's a yeller, or there's a cheerleader, there's a yeller, and the one that wins the most is a coach. All those guys I just mentioned are coaches. McCarthy maybe with the exception, right? They're not cheerleaders. They're not screamers all the time. They're coaches, just like Hafley's press conference. Take any of those guys in the league. So you think about how many openings will there be this year. So people will say there's no Ben Johnson out there, and he is kind of that young guru. I think he's a hell of a football coach, but he's passionate, right? Okay, there's not a Ben Johnson out there, and there's not a Vrabel. Vrabel was out there the year before, and Bengals could have jumped all over. People say, well, they couldn't have got him. New England got him. They could have the year before. He would have took the job. He went work for the Browns as just a guy, right? And he would have took the job. And I still think if they did it the right way, coming into this year, and I'll name the teams that I think could be on the market, the Bengals would be the number one job. That means something. And I think it would have been the number one job last year. I think Ben Johnson would have took Burrow, T, and Chase with the GM he selected over the Bears. Firmly believe it. Don't know that, and I know Vrabel would have took it 2 years ago. They could have traded for Peyton, got it. Everything looks different if you traded for Peyton 3 years ago, right? Everything's different. So any of those teams. So we know Tennessee, and we know the Giants are out there. Will the Raiders fire Carroll? They might.
Come on.
The Giants are out there. The Washington, will they? Quinn? I don't know. But it's kind of what he did in Atlanta. Started out real hot like that, and then phew, the bottom fell out. Will Atlanta? Probably. Raheem Morris. Bengals are a way better job. Arizona? Probably. Who would you rather go coach for?
Yeah.
They don't have a quarterback, right? With salary cap space, with Burrow, T, Chase, it's the number one job. The question is, will they do it or will they not? You don't believe they will, you're probably right, but they should. The real answer to that, or the real question is, should they? And the answer is yes. I think anybody that knows anything in the NFL would say it's time to move on. And again, Zac Taylor would not get a job if they moved on as a head coach. Duke Tobin would not get a job as a GM if they moved on. That says everything. In a league that's thirsty for quarterback coaches, thirsty for GMs, we're going to talk about quarterbacks in a second, they would do it. You agree?
I agree.
Around the league, your thoughts on this one? So Tom Brady's been very vocal about the development of the quarterback. So have I. I said Jalen Hurts is overrated. I said Mahomes is overrated. I said Lamar's overrated. And you're seeing it this year. Teams are allowed to play defense, and they're catching up left and right because quarterback development's not happening. Proof in the pudding. I hate it for Daniel Jones. You? I do hate it for him. I think that's a bad deal. I'm not going to be Peter King on here crying when somebody gets hurt like Watson did, but you look at it, man, the guy was playing hurt one leg, then he tears his Achilles on the other. The Colts are probably done now on a season that could have been a championship level maybe, right? Jonathan Taylor, the defense is playing okay. Good receivers. Taylor's awesome. Phillip Rivers is out of retirement. Grandpa. He's been coaching high school. He's 44 years old. They signed him to the practice squad. I heard the coach of the Seahawks talk about him when he's faced him today. He said he threw it in like a post pattern. We had it covered well. He slung it, 2013, hit it. And he said he went running up and down our sidelines. Rivers did. He was at Baltimore. And Coach McDonald, whatever his name is, from Seattle. He was at Baltimore then. He said he went running up and down our sideline telling us how good of a throw. And Kerwin and Miller, who are great, and one of the few that are great, they're like, what'd you say? He goes, I was just a young buck. I didn't say anything. He was giving it to us. I wonder, now they're saying he might even play. All they got is Riley Leonard. He's 44 years old, hasn't played in 4 years. That kind of tells you everything about the league.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to tie this into the segment that you just made about the coaching jobs and you know the Bengals being the most I guess enticing.
Yeah.
So when you have a quarterback like Joe Burrow and the talent that is around him, and compared to the rest of the league, it makes it such a just awesome job to come into if everybody gets out of the way.
Yeah.
And I've made some comments here in the last few weeks. I kind of want to retract if I can.
Retract, my friend.
And the reason is because of Joe coming back the last couple of weeks and how well he's played and how poorly Flacco played the last couple games and how bad Browning was, right? So I think a average to above average offensive coordinator could win 12 to 13 games with this team if the team was cohesive.
I think Dayball would do it right now. Ryan Dayball.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep,
like
absolutely.
I mean
Anybody coordinate
like
that team.
for instance, Pitch. If they keep Pitch and Pitch is the offensive coordinator and they hire a new defensive minded coach and then brought in a new defensive coordinator,
Yep.
It probably completely changes everything because I still think, okay, you know, Zac is doing this offensively. He's doing this. They're scoring this many points. Well, the more I really think about this, I think a lot of people, a lot of coordinators,
Anybody
could get this kind of production out of Joe Burrow and this much talent. And especially if you're a little bit more creative, you know what I mean? Especially with Chase Brown and Gesicki and Fan, and to be able to do some different wrinkles and which every once in a while Zac will throw something. For the most part, it's lined up to football, right? So they kind of tie into each other because it's like, okay, the quarterback situation is what it is in the league, but then you look at the Bengals quarterback situation, and there's only a handful of teams. You know, I mean, Mahomes, Josh, Burrow. I don't even put Lamar in that category.
Stafford right now, I guess.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
There's 4, 5, 6. That's it.
Maybe. Yep.
You know, and it just makes this job so enticing. I would think to
With
just about
salary
anybody.
cap. Yep.
You know,
And Jamar.
But so with that being said, when it comes to the salary cap, you have to have somewhat, maybe not full control, but you got to be able to put your 2 cents in and not just rely on Duke. Because I'm telling you right now, Duke ain't going nowhere. So it would be, if anything happens at all, it will be Zac's gone. And I'm giving that 10% chance. But with that being said, you have to be able to say, okay, who do you want to? You come in, you play, you've got the best quarterback, the best receiver, and a top 10, and probably a top 10 running back. So you've got all these weapons. What can you do to make our defense better to where we can stay in these games and be able to have the ball in the fourth quarter not driving down to win the game, but up 10 or 13 or 2 touchdowns to just grind the clock out and then freaking kneel on it, man. That's what we want. I don't want to have to every game. How much time's that? How many timeouts they got? You know what I mean? I don't want that. So I think that's where both of them kind of tie in together. I mean, Joe's just fantastic.
Yep,
dude.
best quarterback in the game.
Yeah, and it all comes down to what can we do, or as an organization, to make that happen. I just don't think it's going to happen.
The point there, I'll make a couple points. I agree with you 100%. I said it last week. You throw Dayball as head coach of this team, he could do everything that Zac's doing, if not more. Who could? Callahan at Tennessee. If you put him he's stuck there, you put him at head coach. So my point with that would be, I'll flip that back to the Phil Jackson argument. So if you say Phil Jackson took over for Doug Collins, right, with the Bulls, and you say, wow, Phil Jackson came in and wore Doug Collins, and Jordan averaged 33. Look what they can do. If you and I go coach that Bulls team, Jordan's scoring 33 or more. He's doing whatever the fuck he wants to. Pardon my French. Every game.
Yep.
The question is, can you mold everybody, tone him down a little bit, fit it in, continuity, playing off each other, keeping them motivated, bringing a team in, designing a way to win games. Phil Jackson was light years ahead of anybody that I've ever seen in the NBA.
Yep.
Period.
Triangle offense.
And he had to do it with Kobe and Shaq. It was about playing defense, not taking shots, not doing that. Jordan was bought in. He'll say it himself. And he ripped Jordan, threw him out of practice. You know, Zach's not doing that with anybody. You kidding me? So anybody, that was my point last week. If it's Dayball, whoever it is, whoever you don't like as a coach, offensive-wise, you throw him in with this offense, you're scoring points and Burrow's lighting it up. That's why I wouldn't have hired Callahan. I said it then. People were, we're losing Callahan. So, who cares? If they lose pitcher right now against sides, it doesn't matter. It's not Zach Taylor. Oh, he's good at offense. No. It's anybody. It's anybody. So the point is, Zach can only, my argument would be, with the people you just mentioned, how they're organized, you bring in a real coach who knows how to coach defense, knows how to do whatever, knows how to bring a team together. Most of the games, you're not even worried about late in the fourth quarter because you're up big. You should be.
Yeah.
You look back to when the Eagles fired Andy Reid. I don't know the exact. I'd say he went to the Chiefs. I don't know. I haven't looked this up. 2013, something like that. What happened? They won 4 or 5 games a year before. What happened? Immediately. So everybody will give him credit from Holmes, and no doubt he took him over the top for sure. But Andy Reid would win with Alex Smith, whoever. That's a guy that can coach. And I don't like Andy Reid. Now, he won with McNabb. McNabb was good. He won with Kevin Kolb, or whatever the hell his name was. He won with Vic when he came in. He's going to win with anybody. He's going to design people to get open. He won the big playoff game when Mahomes got out with Chad Henne. He designed plays to get him down the field to win the game. You see, that's a coach. Yeah. Zach can't do that shit. most, to be fair, most coaches can't. But that's why you put an Andy Reid, hypothetically, Andy Reid with Joe Burrow right now, it's a handful of rings, and you're competing for home field every year, right? And now they have a really good offensive line. We both agree. But they didn't even address that early in his career. Now you can say it's fluke injuries, and I would agree. Then it wasn't. Their offensive line sucked, and he got drilled all the time. Your most valuable asset, they don't know what the hell they're doing, Stevie boy. They don't know what they're doing. They're horrible. Duke Tobin's horrible. Zach Taylor's horrible. You could throw anybody in there right now with Burrow, and they're going to do what those two guys have done. The last since 2023, as I mentioned last week, he's 17-14 with Burrow as a quarterback, starting. 17-14. And one of those is a win with Jacksonville where, what's Browning finished. 17-14. That equates to 9.3 wins or whatever it is a year. So that's 9-8 record with the best quarterback in the league. Tell me any other franchise that's won before would sit back and let that happen.
I know.
They wouldn't do it. They would not do it. And, that's the problem. That's my knock on ownership. They don't have, we talked about this 3 years ago when they got on them like, we hope we can just hang around and, maybe knock the door open. That sums it up. You're not trying to knock a fucking door open. You're trying to be the man. To beat the man, you got to beat the man. Ric Flair. Woo! That's what they should be year in and year out. They should be a preeminent franchise year in, year out with Burrow and Chase. But they don't know what the hell they're doing. It's one miss after another, draft pick, free agent. You got it, right? I mean, sad. It's really sad. You know, you look at like Polian with the Colts. They brought in Dungy, finally won one. It wasn't easy. You know, they had different, you had Belichick and Brady and all them to do it, but they were in it every single year, right? They were there. Like, the knock on Dak when he's got a good coach and everything, and Burrow's light years ahead of Dak, in my opinion. If he's got the right coach and everything around him, they're going to go. McCarthy went 12-4 like 3 years in a row. Would they take that now? What would he do with Burrow and that McCarthy? And I'm not even a big McCarthy. What would he do with Burrow chasing those guys? They'd win 12 a year, I guarantee it, right? If he's in charge. So there's better options out there. If you're just firing a guy to fire a guy, I would agree. But the guys I just mentioned are all light years ahead of him, right? Leadership, coaching, a real culture, physical football, complementary football. All those guys would bring that, and McCarthy would bring a notch up in offense, right, for sure. So we'll see. It's crazy. AFC North, you got Pittsburgh. They play Miami this week, right, Stevie boy?
Yep.
That's a big game. You know, I don't think Miami's the real deal by any stretch of the imagination, but, I don't like him at all, really. Their head coach, but you got to give him some credit, right? They fired the GM. They're playing right now. They're in it, right? So they play Monday night. Pittsburgh's favored. Then, of course, you got Baltimore at Cincinnati, 1:00 game. We'll see what happens there. You got the Chargers and Chiefs. Chiefs are favored pretty big in that game, even though Chargers beat the Chiefs, they're done. Bills, Patriots, rematch. Big game. New England beat them the first time. And honestly, I don't even think New England's really that good. May's playing really well, though. He's playing really well. Buccaneers and Falcons on Thursday night, which we'll talk about in a second. I think the best coaching job I've seen this year is D'Amico Ryans in Houston. Unbelievable. That defense will smack you in the mouth. You see by that Chiefs game, they're letting defenses play a little bit.
Yeah.
They hit Mahomes. They hit Kelsey. Browns at Bears. Dub Bears, they lost a tough one to Green Bay. That's a fun game to watch. Eagles trying to get back against a very putrid Raiders team. Packers and Broncos, a huge game, right, in Denver. I don't really think Denver, for real, I keep saying about everybody, but I don't think they're that good either. I think the Packers roster-wise is way better. So that's an interesting game, 425. Lions and Rams, kind of make or break for the Lions. Tell you what, they miss Ben Johnson. They miss Glenn too, but they really miss Ben Johnson. Vikings, Cowboys, McCarthy's back, but that's a huge game for Dallas to get back. Colts and Seahawks would have been a big game, but that Seahawks team, that Kubiak, that's why he's a big name, right? What he's doing with Darnold and stuff. So what's your thoughts on right now, who do you think's the best team? Who do you think wins the North? If you had to pick right now, who wins the AFC North?
Pittsburgh.
Same. Didn't think that was – I wouldn't have said that 3 weeks ago, but I do think they're the best team right now. Saints are playing pretty competitively. I kind of think the Saints might knock off the Panthers this week. So playoff race, it always comes back. Teams come in and come out, but it's going to be competitive getting in. NFC, they're all the top dogs are all in the NFC according to the odds. I don't know if I really believe it. Who do you think's the best team in the NFC if you had to bet on it right now?
Man, I'll tell you. Honestly, maybe not record-wise, but I still think the Rams can make some noise. I really do. And probably, I don't know. I just keep going back to coaching and quarterbacking, right?
Yep.
And I just think the Rams can be there, and they can. Denver, you said it, but they keep kind of playing well.
Yep, they win a lot of games at the end.
Yeah. So quarterback, Nix has played okay, but usually plays pretty good when it matters. So
he does.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yep, I got the Rams in the NFC. In the AFC, if you had to pick Super Bowl right now, who do you pick from the AFC?
Honestly, probably Denver. Probably Knicks. Honestly, just because of the defense and how they kind of win games. They've kind of been there before a little bit. They had some games down the stretch last year that they had to win. They did some and not some, but he's a hell of a coach.
He is that. Fireball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't mince words, does he? He takes a lot of people off. I think Sometimes I don't even think he means what he says. I think he just wants to rile people up. He's good at it. He's very good at it. He's very good at it. I've got the Bills in the AFC still. I think they're going to find a way. And part of that is I just don't know that Denver and New England's that good. The Colts would have been a factor for sure, but they're not now. Jacksonville, you got to give that guy, that head coach, you got to give him credit, right? Unbelievable turnaround. They keep winning, right? I don't think they're that good. But I think Buffalo's going to slide through as a wild card. And, I kind of hope New England wins. I like Drake May. I love Vrabel. But I kind of think it's going to be Buffalo and the Rams in the Super Bowl. And I think Rams are probably a better team. So McVay might get his second one, right? And that'd be his third Super Bowl and 2 wins. So that's quite impressive. He's still a young guy. It's amazing. Yeah, he's still young. So, there's no doubt in my mind, or very little doubt in my mind, that Shula will get a job after this run. So it'd be interesting to see where he goes. I think he's going to be a big-time head coach as well. Pretty interesting. All right, we transition before we make our picks. Buckeyes in the playoffs. Tough loss against Indiana. I think, I'm not knocking Indiana because I think Cignetti's a hell of a coach. But, Ohio State kind of had to do everything possible wrong there. For some reason, 2 weeks in a row, I keep yelling. You do a quarterback sneak, you got a quarterback that's designed for that. Lincoln Keenholz, he's big, he's athletic, and you do it with sand. So, cost them a game, but, ironically, they lost 13-10 just like last year and then went on a playoff run. They're still the favorites, pretty heavy, but it's closed a little bit with them in Indiana. I just can't imagine Indiana winning a championship. You, Stevie Boy?
Yeah.
I just can't imagine it. Could be wrong. Quarterback, he's gritty, dude. He's going to get picked up there. Physical guy. Took a lot of hits. That hit right out of the gate. So you got Friday, December 19th. So a week from Friday, Oklahoma, Alabama. Texas A&M and Miami, Ole Miss, Tulane, Oregon, James Madison. We're not going to make our picks today. Just kind of giving you a heads up. Ohio State will play on New Year's Eve. Might go to that game. It's tempting. Cotton Bowl in Arlington, Texas. They will play either Texas A&M, who's a dangerous team, or he's a loser, baby, Carson Beck and the Miami Hurricanes if they win. Most likely Georgia, but you never know. The Bulldogs with some big wins there. So that'll be an interesting. It's gonna be an interesting run. I would rather play it old. I'd rather be a 3 seed and be down. That's where they mess that up. Like they need to do it like the NFL does, where the highest seed plays whatever the lowest team is coming in, and you flip it around. Probably won't matter this year, but if you're a 3 seed like Georgia, you play Ole Miss or Tulane, which will be Ole Miss. Ole Miss without Kiffin, how are they going to react, that kind of stuff. People love James Madison and Tulane being in there, that underdog feel, but I think it's just a wasted game and a wasted slot. They're both like major, one's 21-point underdog, the other one's 16-17 last time I checked. I just can't see them competing, but be interesting for sure. Indiana will probably get Oklahoma or Alabama. Tough matchup for them, but I think they're a better team than either one of those. So, all right, Stevie Boy, your Thursday night pick. It's the Buccaneers, the Yuccaneers now, as fans are going against them all of a sudden. Mayfield struggled. They're starting to get some guys back. They activated. Evans is he's in that window now. They've missed a lot of guys. That would be huge. You got Tampa Bay against a very underperforming Atlanta team. The spread is 4.5 for our Thursday night picks. Who do you got, Stevie Boy?
Tampa Bay, 4.5 is what I got.
Tampa Bay with 4.5. Unfortunately, I'm going the same. I've got, what are we on tees? You're 7-5, I'm 9-3. We both are going with Tampa Bay. 4.5, I like that one. And what's your 4 NFL picks against the spread?
All right, I'm gonna go New England at home plus 1.5
against the Bills.
Yep.
I've got 1. You got 1.5?
Yeah, I got 1.5.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Bengals because I done said they were going to win, and I'm getting 2.5, so I'm going to take the Bengals. I'm also going. I think the Chiefs are going to bounce back. That's up 4.5. I don't know why. I think they're going to bounce back.
Hope you're wrong, but I wouldn't surprise me.
And I think the Texans is going to kill the Cardinals, and that's a 9.5 point spread. I bet they win by 2 touchdowns at least.
Yeah, they hit, don't they? Man, I kind of like watching them play. A little more old school football. They don't play around. As Gary Burbank would say, they don't mess around. I've got the New York Football Giants -2 versus the Skins. Mariota, they brought back Daniels. They're catching a lot of heat on that, aren't they? But he looked healthy in that Hard Knocks, but that's a bad look for them. The New Orleans Saints. That team, Kellen Moore's got those guys playing hard every week. We said that early on in the year. They're getting 2.5 versus Carolina. That's a big game for Carolina. Who's right in the hunt. I kind of think I might even bet that on the money line. Go NOLA there. So if you go, it's plus 2.5, minus 105. If you bet on to win New Orleans straight up, you go plus 124. I got the Dallas Cowboys minus 5.5 versus Minnesota. How bad a loss was that for Quinn now?
Yeah.
To get smoked 31-0, he might get canned, man. If Daniel Snyder was still the owner, he's getting fired for sure. That's not a good thing, him as the owner. But Cowboys 5.5. I think Flores is a very good defensive coordinator. McCarthy, I think that's what he's going to be. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I think he might end up with really good quarterback rating games like last week, but he's going to throw under 200. Right? I just can't see him ever being that 300-yard passer. He had a lot of touchdowns, but I think Dallas will light their ass up. And then, unfortunately, I've got the Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, winning on Monday Night Football. Right? Where's it at? There it is. 3.5, Pittsburgh against Miami. Miami keeps proving me wrong because they're playing pretty well.
It's probably going to be bad weather, cold, Miami traveling.
Yeah.
Probably gonna be.
And a big game, right? Monday Night Football. If you look ahead, not that we're going to do that now, but according to Caesars, the Bengals are 1.5-point favorites at Miami. So that tells you what they think about it. Buffalo's at Cleveland next week. So it's lining up for some of these teams, right? Houston plays the Raiders next week. Steelers, like you mentioned, have to go to Detroit. New England goes to Baltimore. So this game for Baltimore this week and the game for Pittsburgh this week, you can't say it's a must-win, but it's pretty damn close. Pretty damn close. And then the Colts play the Niners as we go into Christmas week. I think there's 2 or 3 games on Christmas. So that's our picks for this week as we're hanging in there, trying to. Stevie Boy's got quite the record he's trying to protect, right? You're trying to lose.
Sure, I'm trying.
You're trying to lose at this point.
Yeah.
So we got Wendy. We talked about it a lot. There's a lot to cover. Bengals, Ravens. Who's announcing that game? I forgot to look that up, Stevie Boy. You looked at it yet?
No.
I got it right here. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. I meant to do that. And I got one other thing to say I almost forgot. Where were you on this, Steve? You're supposed to be helping me with this.
Been carrying y'all podcast.
I know. There's only so much one person can do. Let's see here. We got... So, Ian Eagle and J.J. Watt will be on the Buffalo-New England game, which is surprising. Not a good announcers for Baltimore-Cincinnati. Spiro Rodriguez and Adam Archuleta.
Yeah.
Not horrible, but certainly not
I
good.
don't like Archuleta.
I don't either. I'd rather have Harlan. Kevin Harlan and Trent Green will be on the Chargers Kansas City, which is the big game. And if you're interested in sponsoring the podcast, Stevie Boy, you can contact us. I'll give you my email address. Do not spam me, please. Right, Steve?
Please spam me.
Spam me? You can spam me. I'll just sort them out there. You can email me, Scott, SCOTT _ Dryden, DRYDEN at yahoo.com. We don't have a website yet. We may do that down the road. Thinking about a few things on that. You can contact us, get you a brand on here. We'll do a read for you. We'll do whatever you want. Send it to us for a small nominal fee. Right, Steve?
Small nominal fee. Yes.
Exactly. That's the story of your life, right? You know what they used to call you, small nominal fee?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's not? Okay, my bad.
No.
What'd they call you?
I can't say it on the air.
All right, Stevie Boys, I'm chewing on this Partega cigar, one of Michael Jordan's favorites. Take us home, my friend.
Got some nasty weather coming in, guys. But that don't matter. If you're going to go 15 mile an hour, guys, also traffic, stay to the right. Peace out.
No, I know.